I bought Final Fantasy 16. I'm playing that a little bit.
Nice. How
I
is it
didn't
so
know
far?
you were a FF guy.
Yeah, I'm not really a dabble, you know. Um, the first
I
one
think
I
there's a
played
certain
was
hype to what this FF brings to the table, you know?
yeah.
Like, there's
Well,
a reason
actually,
that new players might get
kind
in on this one.
of almost goes to like the negative. All right, well, let me just say. So the first one I played was number 9. It was on the PlayStation. I don't know how we acquired it. It was just there one day, and
Manifested.
yeah, we started playing it, and I liked that. And then I got 10, and then we even got 10 too, which is a very strange game. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And then 13 came out and it looked lame as hell. And I don't think it was turn based anymore. If it was like weird turn based. I skipped it. And then 14's an MMO, and then 15 I also skipped, for no particular reason. I think I was just probably in the range or something. It's not that I don't like them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do like the turn-based games better than these new actiony ones. Although this one's kind of turning my opinion around. So, anyways, yeah. So I got the game, played it. I give it some thumbs up and like some thumbs sideways. But like it's still pretty good, despite the thumb sideways. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Set that up, my thumb people.
Yeah.
Checks out. Checks out.
Thumbs are doing
Yeah,
good.
no, you're good. You're good.
Your thumb's like twitching a little bit.
Yeah. It's got some like Game of Thrones stuff going on. It's real low tech. You know, it's not like your Final Fantasy. Well, like I said, 9 or 7 or I think even 8. I don't know, I didn't play 8. Where it's like this weird kind of sci-fi punk industrial magic going on. It's just like, yeah, there's some wizards. There's also like castles and catapults and stuff. That's pretty cool. I like that. Andy, you played the prologue. Do you agree so far?
Yeah. I wasn't gonna take up your spot, but I did play the entire demo, and I really dug it. I didn't really have much expectations going in. I've been kind of intrigued, but yeah, I was digging it a lot.
So I was saying I like turn-based combat, but this one is definitely there's no turn-based combat. It's action-oriented. You're getting these little encounters, and it starts off pretty basic, but you can tell that there's more there, and you're gonna unlock more abilities and get a little bit crazier. For the first bit, you're gonna be pressing square a whole bunch. Obviously there's like a parry, there's a dodge. And you have some abilities, and you gain more later. It's just how the game works. And I don't know, I don't play as many of these action types games as you guys do, so I don't know what you compare it to. Or I don't really have anything to compare it to, but it feels good. I mean, Andy played it. Maybe you can compare it to like one of the I don't know, like a faster type, like a Sekiro. Maybe not like exactly like that, but you know what I mean? Like you're always darting around the screen, you're always moving.
Yeah. God, there is a game I think trying to think of. It's kind of like Tales of Symphonia meets whatever game you just said. Yeah,
Sekiro,
yeah.
So yeah, I mean you have like a dedicated dodge button, but you also have like a long distance kind of go in button, and then your original stance that you have, this fire stance, also has like a get in button. So like, and there's also range combat. You can shoot like fireballs. So no matter what distance you're at, you always close into the enemy. You always have ways to back up. You're always like constantly moving. You're pressing some sort of buttons. Basically the opposite of turn-based combat. But it just feels good.
Feels good, man. I agree.
And I don't know how you could ever prove this, or I mean, I guess somebody could eventually. I have a feeling they have some like back end system when you're fighting bosses or you're doing bigger encounters, that they push you as close as you can to almost dying, so they don't kill you. Because I've had too many, more than like half a dozen experiences with bosses where that was like the exact shit. Like I just ran out of potions. Oh, I'm just in the red now. It's like I just beat him, and I was like, it's almost too many to be fun. You know what I mean? Now I'm just expecting it.
Are you sure you're not just naturally attenuating yourself, like the whole like I play much better when I have 10% HP thing?
I don't know, perhaps. Or maybe they just crafted the game so greatly to the average player, me, that I can't tell the difference. You know, either way, it's working because I've had, like I said, tons and tons of those experiences where I was like, I just made, and those are always fun. You don't want to lose, but you don't want the game to be a pushover. So I mean, that department's been great.
Yeah, I guess actually I don't care if that feeling it's trying to give me is an illusion, right? So if I don't know it's an illusion,
yeah,
exactly.
As long
and I definitely can't
immersive.
tell. I have thought
It's
about
like living
it.
in the Matrix.
I wish, dude. I so wish.
Square Enix devs are listening to this and sweating right now. They know we're on to them.
The game throws you right into like its story, and I mean it's like a whole world, and it's mentioning different kingdoms and different religions and their culture and stuff, and like it's almost too much to take in it. Well, it is too much to take in at once, but the game does like a crazy amount to make sure if you want to know, it's all there. Like they have a thing where if you just like while anything's going on, like while a cutscene's going on, while you're just running around, you can hold the like Xbox, PlayStation like middle pad button in, and it gives you a thing called active time lore. And it basically just brings up like the last few like things or people or places that have been mentioned and gives you like little encyclopedia entries that you can just read.
Oh wow.
That's a fun way to do it.
Yeah, an index. Later there's a character you unlock in your like hideout that gives you like 2 different breakdowns. So the game it's not like in a typical, well, I don't know, I didn't play 15, but I think 15 was like this. It's not a typical open world game or Final Fantasy game where you're running around a map and you just run into the next town and then you run out of the town and then you run into somewhere else. It's kind of just level based. You pick little places on or little pegs on a map, and then you go to like a little overworld, well, not an overworld, but like a smaller open world, and you run around there, and then you get to the edge of that, and it'll be like, you want to look at the overworld, and then you look at the overworld, and you pick a new one. And it sounds kind of disappointing, but I think it works a lot.
That sounds like just a modern version of what the early Final Fantasy games did, where you would have towns to go to, right? And like,
exactly.
Maybe a hub.
Except for these have a little bit more expanded, because we're a little bit further on. But yeah, somewhere in between that and the later games where you're just running around a giant open world and it's not that fun.
I'll be the Greg here and say Yoshi P is bringing Final Fantasy back.
Is he in charge of this one?
Yes, that's one of the reasons why people are so excited. And the thing I keep hearing about Final Fantasy 14 is the story is like the best of any Final Fantasy game ever. And you start to ignore it. You start to tune that out because people just say it so much. I gotta say, like, the prologue, like, really grabbed me. Like, the story, like, it's really cool. And, like, yeah, maybe it's you called it the Game of Thrones thing. I see what you mean. Like, I do like settings like that. So that kind of appeals to my taste. But the writing and the voice acting and stuff was also just on point, I thought.
Yeah, I really liked the prologue a lot. And then afterwards, I dipped off a little bit because I was like, man, there's just so much going on. And then it's got me back.
Oh, you mean just like it started like throwing names and facts at you, and it's like, what am I supposed to remember?
Different places.
What am I supposed to know?
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm back now. I'm in it, and yeah, I'm digging it so far. Things are happening. Yeah. Overall,
by the way,
big. What's that?
There are summons in the game, right?
They're called icons.
Sort of.
Icons.
Well,
in
that's
this
kind of
one?
what the whole game revolves around. In this Final Fantasy universe, different kingdoms. There's this. It's a whole class system basically. So there's a class of people called bearers, and they're the ones that they can use magic, but a certain section of them can summon these icons. And all of those, the bearers are like second class citizens. People treat them like shit and stuff, and make them work for them. Especially the ones who can do the icons. Usually they get like captured up by like a kingdom, and they're like, all right, you're our weapon. We're gonna use you.
Which
And
that's
you kind of want to break that system. That's pretty much the whole overplot of the game.
which
Oh, I
in
see.
the
Okay.
in the game you are you play as the shield, as in a person whose duty is to protect the bearer, the icon, and your little brother is the bearer.
Oh, so he's like your mage who is a summoner, essentially.
Pretty much, kind of, sort of.
Is that how it works? Because I haven't played the portion of the prologue doesn't actually have combat with the two of them together. I don't think. Not that I remember.
I mean, I'm not saying that he is, but in theory, that's what they would do
right.
if everything was a good world. You know what I mean?
And also, one thing you didn't note that I thought was cool was that it's not just like that person can summon the icon; they like kind of like become the icon, right? Like their body is like a vessel or something like that. Like they
Oh.
disappear.
Yeah, they're definitely they're like connected to it. There's some crazy stuff they explore. I don't want to get too much into the story, but yeah, the summons icons, they are a very intertwined into the story and the even like the politics of like the game. They're basically just war weapons, enslave people.
Always a good plot point.
See, that's interesting that's your perspective. Because calling them slave people and stuff, I feel like that isn't the perspective you get from the prologue. So I can see that like it's opened up quite a bit for you.
Oh yeah. I don't want to say any more, but yeah.
What are you going to say overall?
God
John?
damn it! Final Fantasy made yet another game where it's about a bunch of people being slaves to fucking crystals.
Oh, dude. I hate the crystals. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't wanna
That's
get
what
too
Final
far,
Fantasy
I'm not
13 was
fun
about.
game.
Like that, the crystals give you random tasks, and if you don't accomplish them, you turn into a crystal. And
Dude, it's classic.
and people
then you gotta give
raging
somebody
against
else a
God.
task.
Something LC?
I'm not
The
sure.
C?
Something like that, yeah. That sounds familiar. It's been years since I played that game now. God, where did the time go? My hands. What happened to my hands?
Yeah, so that's Final Fantasy 16. I'll report more on it so far. I give it thumbs up. It's like the only PS5 exclusive besides like Spider-Man or something, right?
Yeah.
It's not even
It's,
exclusive forever. I mean, they said it's going to be like a year or so, or maybe longer, but it's not even forever.
It's a short list.
Hey, and also the boss fights, 10 out of 10.
That's good.
We're like, how do they do that? They're just punching each other, but like they find a way. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 16.
Final Fantasy 16, dude. Sorry. I was going to mention that it's worth noting that they haven't actually confirmed that there's timed exclusivity. In fact, like they have openly said that they don't know why people are assuming that there is.
Oh, well, good. Then you'll never get to play it.
But there probably is. I mean,
No. It's my game. You will not have it.
I didn't know John was one of those people.
Yes, the superior PS5 is finally paying off.